Today, we're sitting with Roh Habibi, a highly accomplished real estate expert and key member of the Habibi Group, a top-tier advisory team renowned for its client-focused service and groundbreaking marketing strategies, specializing in luxury properties across San Francisco Bay Area, coastal Orange County, and Manhattan. Roh and his team have built a reputation for record-breaking sales and exceptional business practices. Congratulations, Roh. With a diverse background in finance, wealth management, sociology, and psychology, Roh and his team offer a comprehensive approach to real estate, guiding clients through complex transactions and ensuring long-term wealth preservation. The Habibi Group's expertise extends to working with high net worth individuals, foreign investors, developers, athletes, and industry leaders, while also leveraging a deep understanding of international markets. You're everywhere. I love it. Roh's influence in the industry is further solidified by his starring role in the $1 Million Listing San Francisco, a hit show on Bravo TV, as well as his contributions to major media outlets like the Wall Street Journal, CNBC, and Bloomberg. His dedication to his clients and his unmatched attention to detail have made him an authority in luxury real estate, setting the standard for results-driven service. Wow, you have really been an amazing success. So
That was incredibly kind of you. That was a great welcome.
welcome. Ma, it's my pleasure. It's all true, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm so happy to sit down with you good today. But I will start by saying I'm so excited to have Roh.
I'm very happy to be here. This is great. I owe so much to you, to the company.
Yeah,
Really.
thank you.
I don't, the thing is you guys made a really profound effect on me at that time because I was incredibly young and impressionable, but I didn't really, you don't see things until later, right? Everything's in hindsight about
It's true.
the group you're around, the positive reinforcement that's around, and also who you're actually through osmosis learning from, right? So when I was here, obviously I was not on a team. I would have loved to have been on James's team or Frank's team at the time. And quite frankly, I went to every single one of the top producers at the entire company when I first started, because interestingly enough, I read the bios of every single Vanguard agent that was on the roster, on the website. And literally one by one, I started picking them off. And then also you guys had a drop down where it said, okay, look at the production for the year, right? So I was like, okay, anyone that's doing over 20, it's great. These are the people that I'm going to approach. So literally one by one, I approached every single person. I was like, hey, I'm new. I'd love to work with you. I'd love to help out in any way possible, whether it be open houses or whatever, anything you need, I'm here.
Yeah.
And it didn't get received too well. There was like, you know what? Yeah, we don't need anyone on the team. Shelly True was like, look, I don't bank on potential. I was like, man,
Business.
yeah, Shelly sat right there, man.
Yeah.
I'll never forget it.
It's a business.
It's a very tough
Right.
business. But again, so what did that lead me to do, right? I didn't literally have the luxury of just kind of like sitting back and relaxing. I was like, damn, okay.
Gotta make some money.
We read every single bio. We know what other people are doing, who's producing, how it's going. And now we know, okay, they're not going to bring us onto the team. So I'm not going to get that direct coaching, mentorship, training, whatever it may be. So now we have to create our own destiny, which led me to you. Okay. So how did that happen? Well, you were bright enough to say, okay, we have 10, 12 of the people that started. We're going to start doing this 6 week or 8 week, what was it?
The master's class?
Yeah.
Yeah. The
6 weeks or something like that.
And I think it was more like 10 weeks.
10
It
weeks.
felt like 20, but
Okay. So I took that
the master.
5 times.
Yeah, you kept coming. Oh, the original.
The original. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
That is a long curriculum I had.
and I did that every single week. I was there
Yes, you
4
did.
years.
We sat through it 5 times.
Yes, I would take rigorous notes. I would just everything that I could possibly sponge in.
So you know why I always say 5 times is important, or 4 times even? Because people only retain about 20% of the information. Remember I tell you say this? People only retain 20% of the information that they hear at any training. So you need to repeat and repeat so that you get 100% of it. So you were very smart. Not many people did that.
Yeah, I felt like I absolutely needed it because the
You
thing
have to
is,
learn when
you're
you
coming to something so unstructured, right? Coming from JP Morgan, it's very, very organized. I know exactly what I need to do.
Right.
You know, what the key point indicators are, how I define success, like in a day or a week or a month or whatever the case. But for here, you know, you're saying, okay, cool, you have the cell phone now and you have that desk downstairs. Yeah, go for it. Yeah. So that I was very happy the fact that you had such a solid training course, and then you would have guest speakers come in all the time and different agents that were very high producing, and you would invite them, hey, go over your listing presentation, go over your buyer's presentation, you know, what are things that they should know. And for myself, like that is what I needed. Yeah, I needed that at the time.
Well,
So
and you were like a sponge. You just took it all in and you ran with it.
I would tell you, Paula, tell me what you need me to do, and that's it.
And you were done.
I would literally do it.
Well, you're 1 out of 10 because the statistics in real estate are not very good. About eight out of 10, I should say, don't make it because real estate is difficult because of the lack of structure and the you have to be extremely ambitious and willing to do just about anything.
Just by
And in a lot of my interviews, I hear it over and over from top producers is when I was new, what did you do? I did everything.
yeah.
That's what you did.
Yeah.
You kept coming back for more.
Yeah, no, I pride myself. Literally, for year one, I did 83 open houses.
Wow.
Thursday
I never
evening.
counted them for you.
Yeah,
but that's
Thursday
amazing.
evening,
Yeah.
Saturday and Sunday. I literally turned on the lights every day in this office, and I turned off the lights every day in this office. First one in, last one out. And yeah, I attribute a lot of my learning process and to here. Yeah, to here. Well, really, because
You're taking me, you're down memory lane.
I'm so down memory lane. I'm like about to break down right now. This is crazy because I remember.
where the interview was going.
But that's okay because it's like a love fest, right? It's a love fest. Well, we do, which is okay.
Yeah.
And I remember, just meeting with James upstairs in the office, and then hearing how he would basically share so much of the knowledge that he's gained over the past 30-year career that he's done or whatever the case during those Wednesday morning meetings. And I don't know if you remember, but I would literally call you or text you the night before and be like, Paula, I can't come to the meeting tomorrow. Because, so for myself, and probably a lot of other people, you're competitive in general. You're competitive with yourself. When we're doing $50 million a week, and I'm not on that weekly Wednesday sales sheet, I do remember, incredibly depressing. Incredibly, just defeating to the point where I was like, dude, you don't deserve to be at the meeting. You need to go sell something. That's true. That's what I'd say on myself.
I do that some people do take the meetings that way.
Oh God,
Other people twist it to it inspires.
Yeah, it could be
more.
Yeah, it's motivational and inspiring, but at the same time, that's tough, right?
Yeah.
Okay, your colleague just did 14 million that week, and you're not even on the sales sheet.
Yeah. Yeah.
What happened, right? What happened? There's something.
You've done incredible.
I know, but it's just so that type of stuff kept me going, man. I was just like, ooh, I can't wait to get back on the sales sheet so I could go to the meeting again. It's good, and I would go and it'd be on it. And it's and it was just so informative because we would talk through literally again, $50 million in deals that week. Who is the buyer? Who is the seller? How did it come to fruition? How long were you working with this person? What are the dynamics of that offer? It was just learning.
Yeah, they didn't teach you that in real estate.
Never.
Your best learning is hands-on.
Yeah. So and then we would literally go on tour for the next 2 hours, and see every single property the office was hosting together.
Mornings, block out your calendar.
Yeah, and then at that time again, and then another incredible learning. It's hey, this is a new development, Roh. These are the things that you're looking for in the new development. Okay, this is this is a pre-war house. This is what we're looking for. And it was just and then I would voluntarily say, hey, James, I want to go with you. Go on, can I go with you, please? And he only had room for 3. Yeah, room for 3 in a little top-down convertible. So sometimes he'd let me go with him. And then other times, again, you're just, the group that we were working with, everyone became so tight because you're spending time together. You're learning from one another. You're doing deals with each other, off-market deals with each other. And it just created this really, really good, strong environment. And I needed that because I could have landed anywhere for my first company or whatever the case, right? And this could have been a very different
I still, to this day, thank Brendan Carney for bringing you over. And he did mentor you, I do believe, for a while.
He was sitting next to me.
Yeah,
He was sitting next to me, yeah.
No, I don't know if there was a formal mentorship.
No, it was just kind of like, by the way.
That's right.
Yeah.
But you had all my training, so that was
He would answer some questions for me. He would yell at me. You know, the usual.
the new kid. You know, you got to see it.
Yeah, right.
It's like being the young.
You got to earn your stripes, I would
You
say.
gotta earn your stripes. Real estate's a very difficult industry. So many people think we do nothing. You put an A-frame on, you make $30,000. You know, I mean, it's anything for or which is a perfect segue. I hate to do it, but the perfect segue to the $1 million listing, right? I hate to do it because I laugh, I chuckle because it's not real estate.
Yeah.
And maybe you can't say or you shouldn't say or whatever. But you were a star buying real $1 million listing in San Francisco edition, and you transitioned into that role very beautifully, and you have a lot of wonderful fans out there. I do know that because my dentist's wife, I get a shout out with every time I go in, tell me how much she loved you. And so, but the show also then took you to the next level of your career.
Yeah.
Correct?
So when I first started at the company, I was living at home. My parents were living in San Ramon. I was driving a 2000 Honda Civic 2-door stick shift, and it was grind time.
Yeah.
Right. Like so for that show, just to kind of give some context on the show, when they're trying to choose those 3 people that are on the show, they're not looking for people that are already doing $100 million in sales, that are already cream of the crop, that are literally just running everything. They're basically trying to find a couple people that whoever ends up watching that show wants to root behind them, grow with them, and like join the journey of them becoming, that aspirational, big agent, whatever the case may be. So when I first started, obviously 2012, they approached everyone, right? Everyone got calls, texts, emails. Hey, we're thinking about filming a show here. If it's not you, maybe who do you know? So we went through that whole iteration of the Skype interviews and, the whole entire team from New York flying out and doing a whole, basically a pre-run. They filmed me from waking up all the way till the evening and did the whole entire day with me of buyer appointments, selling listing appointments. The event that we actually had here at Vanguard that night that I threw, because I was president of the Young Professional Network, and we had an event here that night, and I was like, okay, this is perfect, because you could film exactly what I'm doing on my daily. So, they took it back and they took it back to the team, and so they end up choosing these people that you could kind of grow with. So the problem is San Francisco and the Bay Area in general is not an environment like New York or Los Angeles or these other fancy places where people, are not afraid to flaunt their money or flaunt the amount of money that they have or what they like to spend on, or, just that lifestyle, right? So the Bay Area, Silicon Valley is more low key. People have obviously billions of dollars of wealth, but it's not the place that, you're going to see just Rolls Royces everywhere and Ferraris everywhere. And, people, people actually like spending. Yeah. It's like, people, they'll have their home in Silicon Valley and then they'll have a nice, vineyard in Napa.
And no editor in the city.
Yeah. But nobody needs to know what they're buying or selling or what they made or didn't make. So that's why I think that show had a real hard time taking on to that second season, because they saw how difficult it was to even break in and film that first season. So by the time season 2 rolled around, they're like, hey, we're going to start. People were like, okay, we don't want to be on the show. We'll have a representative on the show. We don't want to be on the show. We'll have a representative. So then it took away the essence of the true nature of the show. So they were like, this is probably not going to work here. So what I had to do is, okay, the show is going to end. So I hired a professional PR company and I said, hey, we got to throw kerosene on this thing because the show's not getting picked up for season 2 and we need to build a brand. So I'll see what better way to build a brand than national and international television. So it helped me kind of build a foundation and legs to stand on, so to say. It didn't mean that people were calling me or emailing me saying, hey, Roh, come sell my house. I saw you on a television show. But at least when I walk in through a room, it was a conversation starter. When I went to a listing appointment, it was a conversation starter. It just had you build just a little bit more of a reputation than would have taken me 15, 20 years and countless amounts of money for me to just build a brand by year 3 by
Yeah,
day.
catapulted you into the limelight for sure.
Absolutely.
Because you got a lot of national press
Yeah.
too. It was, it was filmed nationwide. I don't know if it was global.
Yeah. So after, obviously, they take the nationwide stuff and then they sell it globally to the.
Oh, they do. Yeah. So it does it. It's still
Yeah. So it was airing in Italy. It was airing in Spain. No, I'm pretty sure they do reruns and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
that's fun.
Yeah.
That's fun.
So yeah, so that was a great opportunity, and then it obviously opened up a lot of opportunities for really just tapping into the brokerage community and all of my feeder markets.
What do you mean by that?
So the feeder markets would be the people that have the most qualified buyers and sellers that are going to be able to afford the San Francisco Bay Area, and vice versa. Where are people from the San Francisco Bay Area going to? So by doing that show, if you're in, let's just say New York City and you're in Manhattan, right? You don't know anyone in the Bay Area. You don't know anyone in Silicon Valley, but there happened to be that television show called $1 Million Listing.
Roh Habibi.
It's automatic shoo-in. Hey, this guy's a luxury realtor. He works at a fantastic company. We've literally seen him and how he operates. This would be a great referral partner. So all of a sudden, the referrals just started pouring in. New York, Florida, Boston, Connecticut, Texas, Washington State, just again, many of the different places that could afford, or for some reason or another, their work either brings them here or our works send them over there. And like it opened up those relationships, and that was very helpful.
Yeah, I'm sure it was. Yeah, and you've expanded. You have branches now.
Yeah.
So you have a team,
Yeah.
which is based in your family, which is great. I think that's wonderful that your family has joined you, and they're separate. They're in different. So you're in Orange County and Manhattan. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just to shine a little light and give them the credit, they're doing 10 times better than I ever did.
Oh wow.
Their numbers are insane.
Why do you think that is? The numbers are not any bigger than they are in San Francisco.
Oh, they're bigger.
Oh, they are.
They're very much bigger.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
That's
Ramina's
nice.
in Manhattan and Obeida's in Orange County, and I mean they're just, it's unbelievable, like the fast track of success that they've done because of really, really diving in on understanding the market demographics, understanding what is really going on the ground floor within the actual market, and then what's going on off market. So it was nice to be able to kind of take the flag and just and take it down, but for them, they're getting that 3.0 version. They're not having to make the mistakes.
Right.
They have direct access to just the knowledge base. They have knowledge on how to do the deals, how to structure the deals creatively, and actually being able to close. Because I think the most important part about this business that you said, which was important, is people not being able to make it to year 1, year 3, year 5. It's because you could be the smartest tool in the shed, but you still can't close. That's very, very important. Like you have to be able to take it from A and get it to the finish line and across the finish line. And those are the people that are going to be the ones that are going to be able to continue flourishing within the business. I know a lot of very, very bright people that have incredible personalities and are great with people and all that. But there's a difference between me becoming a friend or a colleague or someone close to you versus me being, hey, Paula, I want to do business with you now. It's a very big difference.
Right.
Right?
Of course. They
So-
put their trust in you to begin with.
Exactly. And
Then we're talking about high net worth individuals. Yeah.
sometimes when you're too close to people, they don't necessarily want to divulge their entire financial situation to you.
Very true.
They don't want to divulge what's going on within the inner workings of the family and how the family operates with you. So, these are all lessons and stuff like that we've learned over time. But no, it's very helpful to be able to send referrals back and forth between Manhattan and Orange County. And anytime I'm there, I'm looking at property with them there, and
So
looking at property here in Manhattan, and we're just doing a lot of stuff together. And it's just nice to be able to do something with people that are very close with you, where every win that they have is a win that you celebrate, and vice versa. And you have like this squad of people that really, really wholeheartedly care about you becoming successful.
That's wonderful. And it'll be there forever because it's your family, which is a great, they're really lovely. What's the word I'm looking for? But it's just a great accolade to have, just to have the family connection, to have the division of the work like that, and in all those interesting locations.
Great.
I like the country in Hampton, or I'm actually myself, as my home base. I love New York. I went, and anyway, that's another story. But so let me ask you a question.
Sure.
a lot of people will say, well, this guy, he had a TV show. Of course, he's got a lot of business.
Absolutely.
Right. So that was great for you. But what about me? I don't have a TV show. What do you recommend? Like for your brothers who didn't have those.
No, actually that did.
How do you start them out? What should they be doing?
So, okay. More importantly than anything else that you do is who you're around. That's it.
More.
So a lot of it, again, has to do with onboarding, right? Onboarding at a company, I could go to Microsoft, I could go to Google, I go to Netflix. Within 3 months, I'm going to be onboarded. I will know everything structurally with who I report to, who reports to me, what my job is,
Right.
how to indicate, okay, am I doing it right? Am I doing it wrong? I'm having multiple meetings weekly with different people.
So we're even getting a paycheck.
And you're getting multiple paychecks per month, right? And you have full benefits and health and
Right.
dental and 401k and all that, right? The differentiation for real estate is you are a 1099 private contractor, right? Independent contractor. And again, you are hanging your license that you've received from whatever state it may be underneath the umbrella of whatever company that you want to work with. So it's just very different. There's unless there's someone like a Paula or people like James and Frank and just different people within that company that are going to be gracious enough and self-aware enough and like have just confidence in themselves. They are not going to try to help you, coach you, train you, teach you, because it is such a competitive environment. They have no incentivization to do that. Like, why do I need to help you, Paula? I don't need to help you. You have to figure it out just like I did, right? That could be the mentality.
It could very well, and it is in many offices.
Well, it is. There's certain people within the office that are going to be like that, which is okay.
Always, yeah.
But it builds that thick skin, right?
Yeah. Well, you need a thick skin in real estate.
Yeah. So there's certain people that obviously gave me a little bit thicker skin, but so what I'll say is this: you have to be around the right people. Now, good point. Say, for example, you can't be around the right people. There is no one in the office that's going to give you the time of day that you want. Well, what happens? There's something called YouTube and Instagram and TikTok and podcasts.
Well, we've got technology today.
Blogs and vlogs.
Yeah.
So every single one of the top producing agents throughout the entire domestic United States of America, I guarantee you, every single one of them have all of that. And they are just giving away free information 24/7. Because why? They are the knowledge broker within their specific market. And for them, when they're creating content, they're creating it for that end user client. They're not creating content for realtors, right? They're creating.
I am.
Well, no, that's okay.
This is a new show. That's exactly true.
But so they're creating content for the end user demographics that they ideally want to work with.
Right.
So in real estate, we have something called R&D. You've heard of it, yeah? It's not research and development. It's rip off and duplicate.
Oh, no, I didn't know that one. I thought it was research and development. Rip off and duplicate.
Rip off and duplicate.
Well,
Okay, look.
they say in history there's no new ideas.
No. So like, okay, so I find the top producer in Manhattan, right? This person's doing $400 million a year. I know that maybe $400 million a year is just far-fetched for what I could do here, right? But why don't I follow them and just see everything that they're doing? What are they talking about? What are the topics of concern for them? Are they thinking about financial planning, wealth management? Are they thinking about, tax advisors? Are they thinking about estate planning? Who is the message for? What are they talking about? Are they talking about price per square foot? Are they talking about trends moving forward and what's happening with that? So now I have a blueprint. Hey, this is what, Saki's doing.
Yeah.
Okay, let's take some notes. Okay, I'm going to talk about X, Y, Z, X, Y, Z. Now I'm learning through them, right? Literally, they don't know, but they're teaching me every single day. And now I find another person that's going to be in Austin. And I find another person that's in Connecticut. And I find another person that's in South Florida. So now I have my army of teachers that they don't even realize it.
Right.
But now I know exactly what's going on domestically throughout the entire United States too. So next person that I meet, whether a buyer or seller, I tell them, hey, and this is what's going on in South Florida. And do you know that, that's one of our biggest feeder markets? That's where a lot of people from San Francisco are going. So, so you're learning how to basically put the puzzle pieces together by look, I don't have anyone in the office that's going to coach me or train me or do whatever. Okay. So what do I need to do? I need to go outside of those lines. When you're driving in the car, I mean, the car time should be knowledge time. Like you can listen to music anytime. Listen to music at the gym perhaps or whatever if you need to get a pump. But if you're in the car and you got a 30-minute drive, an hour-minute drive, like you hop onto a podcast. Right. Learn. The more you learn, because again, the onboarding for real estate is not 3 months. The onboarding for real estate is like 5 years.
Yeah.
Like I want to be very, very like clear with people, for anyone that's watching, it is a 5-year onboarding period because by year 5, you're like, cool. I've done so many contracts now. I've dealt with so many different personality types now. I know, what points to pick up when someone's talking in a certain way. Like, ooh, this is getting a little bit sketchy now. Right. How do I bring it back to life? Or so it just takes time and effort. And that's the thing. When I first started in this business, in hindsight, now that I'm looking back at it, when I started here at Vanguard, I had a very different perspective on what it meant to like, hey, we got to make it. And it was very disruptive, right? To you? No, to me and anyone around me, right? Because people do real estate a certain way and they've done it for a certain way for a very long time. And I was like a very early adopter for social media. Right. I was a very early adopter to a lot of it. Yeah, because that was restrictive, right? Other agents didn't like that. When I would go in and I would say, hey, let me film a walkthrough video of this property because I have a big social media following. They were like, what on earth is a social media following? Absolutely not. This is my listing. It's locked down. Yeah. I've signed this. No, you can't do anything. Right? Interesting. It was just like, it was
generationally, you come from such a different perspective.
So it was just like when you're an early adopter, it is disruptive. People don't like it, right? Yeah. And then also because nobody, for example, within this office would bring me onto their team, I was like, man, I got to overcompensate. I got to do deals and a lot of deals in order to earn the respect and gain the respect. So then they could become a colleague of mine and a partner of mine. And, instead of feeling threatened, then now we share knowledge. Like, hey, I got 3 off markets, Yeah. And before they wouldn't feel the need to share any of that with me. Why? You're not a player anyway, bro. When you get there, we'll talk to you about it.
It's true. It's true. It's so it's like industry because people don't know. There's so many people that come in and out. So every year. But the Department of Real Estate, we have 100,000. I'm just going to pick a number: 100,000 applications and licensees every year, and only 20,000 people last after 3 to 5 years. And that's the period that's the toughest. So you're absolutely right.
Like I think there's 1.5 or 1.6 million total license agents throughout the domestic US.
Correct. Sure.
I was listening to a podcast on the way over here right now that I just learned this. Last year, 965,000 of those agents didn't do a single deal.
Unbelievable.
I have a completely different shifted perspective on that. Now I feel like there's more of an abundance mentality. Before I thought I was like, oh my God, everybody knows somebody, right? Now I'm like thinking to myself, look, and nearly 1 million of them didn't even do a deal last year. That means we have 600,000 of them that I'm quote unquote competing with. How many are actually in the Bay Area? How many are actually in California? Yeah, break it down to the minimum, to the point where you feel good about yourself, right? Yeah. You leave every single day feeling positive. Like, absolutely. Like I'm going to provide more value than anyone else wants to or can even do. If I provide more value, maybe I'll get the call, the text, or the email to get an appointment to the listing agreement, right? The main thing that I always wanted to do and always focused on was, look, I want an invitation to the party, right? There's going to be 3 to 5 people pitching for a deal. If I don't even have an invitation for the pitch, I mean, I'm dead in the water, right? That's correct. So how do I get enough people to know me? Not me know them. Like I know tons of people and that's completely fine. But how do I get enough people to know me or somebody to refer me or to like throw my name in the hat to say, hey, if you're going to be interviewing these 3 people or 5 people for this very unique listing, you should speak to Roh too, because, I've seen him, I've heard him. He brings a different level of intelligence on how to do the marketing and the advertising and who the end user demographic is going to be that's going to buy it. So now I finally get that invitation. Okay, now I'm part of the club. Now I'm part of the party, right? Right. It's mine to lose now. Yeah, okay? That's correct. But if I don't even get that chance or that opportunity for the buyer or the seller, then what are we doing here? Yeah, right? It's chasing our tail. So where are you possibly going If you have not made calls, text, emails, written letters, sent out mailers, did a podcast, did a video, like what did you do? What's you doing?
I know. They say I worked all day. Really? That's a question. That's a point that most realtors,
That's
hopefully
it. That's my life. That's my guiding light in life. Paula, Gold-Nocella. Did you find a new buyer or seller today? If not, sorry, you're not going home.
That's right. What about you? That's going to make 10 more phone calls.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, this has just been wonderful. Really.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
I'm so happy to do this. Absolutely.
Back.
We were talking about this a moment ago. You've built, for me personally, you've built such an incredible amount of goodwill that I'll do anything for you. Thank you. Straight up.
It was
Straight
very,
up.
very beautiful to hear.
Yeah, you have. I mean, look, maybe you don't understand because people don't give you your flowers more often. But for me, for being here, like, I remember, like, I'll never ever forget. I'll never forget how, like a little puppy, you would give me a hug and a tap on my back and say, "Look, girl, it's gonna be all right." I know it's not happening right now, but don't worry, you just keep going. And you would send me out of here.
Going.
Yeah, you would send me out of here, and I would just be like,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, like the teeth are ready again, until the next week. And then I come battered and bruised again, and you're like, all right, tell me what happened.
Yeah, it's a tough industry, and you got thick skin, and you've been a huge success. I'm so proud of you, and to call you one of my newbies.
You are.
Which you're no longer a newbie.
You'll forever have that.
Thank
You'll forever.
Well, thank you for taking the time. And when I'm coming to New York, I want to go and see your brother and meet him and spend some time.
Absolutely.
That'd be fun.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I appreciate you.
All right, buddy. That was great.